Hi, Judy Haddad, owner of Orange Purple Passions, My Healing LLC, and founder and executive director of 5 Purple Oranges, the charity founded after the loss of my son Alon when we were hit by a truck in Dodge County, Wisconsin, and he was killed. I am once again working off my notes. There's a reason for that. I wanted to give you a linear idea of how I got to my purpose. And then I was doing some yin yoga this morning, and in Savasana, it came to me that when I started doing these videos, I had a timeline of how I wanted them laid out because I had been encouraged to write a book about my life and what I've been going through. And when I was, purpose was a very specific section of the book, and I had ideas of what I wanted to share in order to help you find your way in life. I am now almost 5 years out from the biggest tragedy and trauma of my life, and I still struggle with it as well. But it came to me this morning that I had to talk about a different purpose and how the universe lets you know when you're ready to tackle something new. In February of 2017, I started to reach out to the Dodge County Sheriff's Office about creating some sort of way of thanking the people I credit with saving my life, saving my sanity, putting the man who killed my child in prison. And I had a very specific idea in mind and a very specific thought on what would benefit these people and what would benefit the community. But I wanted to see what the sheriff and the community thought. So I apologize for those of you who are following me and just following my hit by this truck story. You probably don't know how much of an activist I've become in Dodge County, Wisconsin. Activist maybe isn't the right word. But this has become part of my purpose, and that's why I wanted to explain this. So if you are just watching Hit by a Truck, I encourage you to watch some of my Sheriff Sunday videos or any of my other videos about purpose and finding your way and transformation and motivation. They all tie in. So in these conversations I had with the sheriff, I was getting one view of how he wanted things, and then I would occasionally reach out to the people that were doing the work, the boots on the ground, so to speak. And I gave up. So 2018, it's now February 2019, maybe beginning of 2018, in February, there was a really bad, there were a bunch of bad crashes in 2018, but 2017 had been a bad year for deaths in Dodge County from vehicular crashes. And at some point in 2018, I felt like I had given up on my purpose where it concerned these particular men and women in the crash team and in the Dodge County Sheriff's Office, and more broadly, the victim families. I had been following all these victim families, I'd been following their cases, and I just sort of lost the fight. And one of the things that had happened was that the information that I could gather was so confusing to me. The sheriff's office had hired a new captain who then became chief deputy, and my impression of what he was doing on his job kept shifting, but I would hear little drips and drabs here and there about how he somehow shifted roles from, excuse me, the cat wants to play, from what I would say, I don't think that helped, what I saw as maybe more of a puppet figure because he didn't know how to do the job, to someone who took a more active negative role in the department. But I honestly didn't know this. I was just reading press reports and sort of asking a question or two here or there and not quite getting an answer. And then one day in the spring, I went to the sheriff's office and drop off a gift and had a conversation with someone who shall remain nameless, someone I never talked to. And I said, what's going on? I said, your sheriff has pretty much labeled me as a difficult woman. I think we all know what that euphemism is for. And I said, what's going on? What's really happening? And it just sounded bad. And I said, who's gonna run against this guy? Do you have someone? And this gentleman said to me, yeah, there's someone internal, and I think he's gonna run. So a few months later, maybe a few weeks, what's time? I actually got a chance to meet the candidate. At that time, he was just a lieutenant who I had seen his face on a couple of posts before, and I didn't know who he was as a person, and I didn't know how he would think of my involvement in this campaign if I so chose to do so, or my wishes for the department. And maybe he would look at me and say, well, you don't know, the numbers don't add up, that's not what we need. But this particular gentleman has become, he and his family, well, the family, have become a really good friend of mine, and through this campaign that he ran for sheriff in Dodge County. And it just, meeting him strengthened my resolve and strengthened my purpose. I went to a campaign event, never met the man. In my mind, I'm just a case number on a page. At the very least, he sort of may know who I am. At some point, I believe he was somehow overseeing maybe some of the investigation in my case, but I wasn't really sure. The timeline wasn't quite secure in my head. And not only did he know who I was and know about my case and my son, but knew things that had been done on my case that I didn't even know. One day I'll show you guys, like, the report that I got from them is this thick, and going through it churns up so much emotion that I haven't really fully gone through it yet. And when I go through it, it will lead me to another purpose. There's so much that the trucking company, the ones who hired and trained the man who killed my child, there's so much evidence of wrongdoing on their part. I just haven't been able to tackle it yet. So I met with Jim and talked to him about what was going on and what I felt, and he completely supported what I thought the county needed and completely gave me and had the facts and figures to back it up. So everything I thought that I was gathering from just my little reading reports here, reading press releases there, getting a word or two occasionally from men and women who work there, he confirmed all of that I was on the right track and that he was going to take the steps necessary to make these crash victim families a priority in his administration. Sadly, excuse me, folks. Sadly, he did not, I'm not going to edit this. He did not, that's not going to help. He did not win. He did not win. But his loss actually strengthened my resolve. So I went from the beginning of 2018 thinking, you thought this was your purpose, this isn't your purpose, let it go, you're not, maybe you're needed here, but there's nothing more you can do, you're not feeling committed to this. You're not feeling this in your soul that this is what you need to be doing, to ending 2018 with, holy crap, I'm not giving up the fight. This is beyond important to me at this point, because of the people I've met both on the force at the sheriff's office and victim families, and because of the stories I now know, because of the facts that I've now been privy to, I have found a deeper bond and a deeper connection with my purpose. Should I need that? Not necessarily. That's where, your faith comes in, and you can review my videos on faith. That has been my struggle. But now the faith is there. I sit there and I spend my time. I don't get paid for the work I do, and I spend my time working on this. Not necessarily with the faith that things are going to turn out the way I want them to, for the better, in any way to help anybody. It's not about that. The faith is just knowing that this is what I'm meant to do, that I am powerful, that this is my voice, that I can use it, that this is where I'm supposed to be, that my efforts are needed here. And that's a wonderful thing. This particular purpose is not tied into any monetary advantages for me, but it's extremely important to me. So I am still keeping up the fight. I am using my voice, and I'm continuing with my mantra. I am strong. I am a force of nature. I am love. Thank you so much for watching.